And welcome back inside Delaware Live Sports. Nick Alessandrini now joined by Jason Winchell. Just going to be us two as we talk a little bit about our other fall sports. Some big things to dive into. We've got volleyball playoffs, Jay, currently underway. We've got soccer brackets released and obviously field hockey as well. So every other sport besides football kind of getting to the heated time of the year. Playoffs, again, underway. We're just around the corner of a lot of our fall sports, and we figured we'd talk a little football with the whole crew. Now it's just us to break down some of these other playoff brackets. Mike Lang unable to be with us this evening, prior engagements. And again, I'm sure he has a lot to say and a lot to talk about this as well. So if you see Mike anywhere, just ask him his opinion on everything in volleyball, soccer, and field hockey.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be in a gym tomorrow and a soccer field tomorrow, and probably a field hockey field. So he'll be all over the place. So he's easy to find, and
Yes, he is.
he'll answer all.
Probably wearing shorts, right? He's probably wearing. It's nice.
He'll
Wearing shorts today.
He'll be the only one wearing shorts out there during the football championships in December.
All right, Jay. Well, let's jump right into it. Volleyball is now smack in the middle of the playoff. It's tournament time in the state of Delaware here right now. And again, this is Monday evening. Quarterfinals will be taking place tomorrow evening. So a lot to unfold before we get there. First round obviously started last week. We've had our bracket released for volleyball. It was number 16 Archmere at number 17 Tower Hill. Then Caravel number 9 against number 24 MOT Charter. DMA, first round game is your 13 seed. They get Polytech, who is 20. Cesar Rodney 12 against 21K Penlopen. The Smyrna Eagles against Concord, 15 and 18 matchup there. Middletown 10, Conrad 23. Ursuline coming in as the 14th seed against Apo at 19. And then Sussex Central grabs your 11 seed and Lake Forest at number 22. So that leaves your teams with the first round byes as St. Mark's, which was your top overall seed. Obviously, Jay, undefeated season for them. How many? I believe they dropped only a few sets all year, right?
Yeah, they dropped their opening set of the season to Wilmington Friends, and then didn't lose a set until their last match of the year when Ursuline took a set from set number 2, and on a Saturday night to end the season. So
how about that?
Yeah,
that's pretty incredible. And we'll talk a little bit about Ursuline here in a few minutes. Obviously, they've done some good things to begin their playoff journeys. And again, St. Mark's, your top seed, your number 1 seed. Your number 2 seed is the Padua Pandas, who we talked about obviously this season. Your number 3 seed, the Red Lion Christian Academy. At number 4, Wilmington Charter. They've had a great year. Number 5, Newark Charter, another great year. A lot of top talented teams here throughout these rankings. Should be a great playoffs. Your 6 seed, Wilmington Friends. Your 7 seed, Dover. And your 8 seed, Delmarva Christian. So after the first round, we were set up with some second round matchups. Tower Hill beats Archmere. So you got St. Mark's, Tower Hill. And St. Mark's took care of business there. 3-0. They get the sweep over the Hillers in round 2.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations to the Hillers winning a tournament game on the road at Claymont. Not an easy place to play. They were able to get it. And Coach Mike Sachs has a young team over there at Tower Hill. I believe only one senior on the roster. Mike and I mentioned we did a couple of their matches this year. They're a young team, and they're going to be good. And he's got a couple former players as his assistant coaches, which help.
I'm starting to see a lot of that now out there in the state of Delaware.
And it's great to see. So St. Mark's just had way too much talent for Tower Hill, but congratulations to them to at least get into the second round.
You said it, Jay. St. Mark's, again, looking for their 12th state championship this year. And I'll tell you, back when I was there, 2009 to 2013, and I'll tell you, every single volleyball game, we were geared up, ready to go, and they brought home a few state championships during that time period. So again, St. Mark's, they're your top seed. They're on to the quarterfinals, again, which will be tomorrow night, Tuesday, November 9th at 6 o'clock. I believe there will be doubleheaders at St. Elizabeth's and St. Mark's tomorrow night for the volleyball quarterfinals. St. Mark's will be there, and here's who they get, Jay. They get the Caravel Buccaneers, who pick up the 3-1 win over Delmarva Christian, who was your 8 seed. They had a first-round bye, welcoming in Caravel, and Caravel gets the victory 3-1. They knock out MOT Charter in round 1, and then they get the upset over Delmarva Christian, though it was an 8-9 matchup.
Here's Delmarva Christian and Caravel played the end played last Thursday before the tournament started, the last regular season game. Delmarva Christian won that one.
Wow.
Able to get the home the 8 seed over Caravel because of that win.
Oh, dude.
And then they play again a week later in the tournament. Caravel made some adjustments and was able to go on the road and pick up a nice road win down there at Delmarva Christian and make it to the quarterfinals. But wow, they got top rank. The one thing about Caravel, and Mike will back me up on this. When we thought Caravel played the toughest schedule this year, from top to bottom, they really challenged themselves, and it really helped them seeding wise get that 9 seed because of their strength of schedule. So they've played everybody. They've played Padua. They've played Ursuline. They've played Delmarva Christian twice. They played all the good teams. So they'll be battle tested, but I just don't know if they have enough to compete with the Spartans on Tuesday night. But we will see. That game, 6 o'clock at St. Elizabeth's tomorrow night.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. And again, Caravel, maybe they can ride some of that momentum. It's tough to beat a team twice. As you talked about, so Delmarva Christian, they got the first one, and Caravel, well, they got the one that mattered. They're on their way to the quarterfinals where they'll meet the Spartans. And then we go a little bit down the bracket. The Charter School of Wilmington, the Force, we had them on the show. Very impressive season. We were talking before we went on the air here. They were rolling coming in. They get the first round bye, and they run into DMA, who beat Polytech 3-0, coming off a nice 3-0 sweep. DMA had some confidence in that second round matchup. And how about the Seahawks? 3-1, they beat Charter in a big upset.
Yeah, I don't think many people saw that one coming, but let me tell you, DMA has an experienced coach in Mary Pat Kawoka. A staple of her teams is playing solid defense, and you have to play solid defense when you play Wilmington Charter because of Wilmington Charter's height. They were not able to, and they were able to play solid defense and also had some timely, offense. And to their credit, they went to Wilmington Charter and took out the 4 seed. So, congratulations to the Seahawks. And that's one team with a experienced coach like Mary Pat. She's got them playing well. Heading into the tournament, they get the upset, like you said, Nick, momentum. And, well, I won't spoil the party, but let's just say that they'll have a familiar foe in the quarterfinals.
And Jay, and we'll just kind of jump right into it. Cesar Rodney and Cape Henlopen, that was the first round matchup. CR gets a 3-1 victory. They meet Newark Charter, your 5 seed, who had a first round bye, and Newark Charter clean sweep 3-0, your 5 seed over Cesar Rodney. Now they earn that matchup with DMA. We did Charter and Newark Charter earlier in the season at that big time volleyball matchup when both were ranked in the top 3 or 4 teams.
That was, by the way, that was Wilmington Charter's last loss.
How about that?
To Newark Charter, and
a long time
like
ago.
you said, that was in mid-September.
Yeah,
So,
they were rolling. I mean,
yeah.
A tough loss. That proves how good DMA is playing right now. And now what would have been a rematch, Charter and Newark Charter, in a big 4-5 matchup, something most people probably anticipated. DMA gets there with that 3-1 win over Charter, and now it's DMA and Newark Charter in the quarters. That one at 7:30 at St. East tomorrow.
Yeah, it's two Diamond State Conference members playing each other again, so it wouldn't have mattered either way, it looks like. Yeah. But DMA got the lost to Wilmington Charter during the regular season, was able to beat them in the tournament, and guess what? They get a Newark Charter team that they fell to in the regular season, but they get them again in the tournament. And
hard to beat a team twice, Jay.
I agree, and we see that there. So I think that's a one of those toss-up games. It could go either way, and it'll be that could be one of those 5-set instant classics. So if you're around St. Elizabeth's tomorrow night, head over to that gym and check it out. Go purchase a ticket on GoFans, with the DIAA. Playoff game and go and watch that because I think that's going to be a 5-set instant classic.
And DMA, I mean, just to talk a little bit about the Seahawks, they come off that baseball state title in the spring. They kind of ride that momentum here in the fall, and a lot of their fall teams are doing pretty well. You got the football team undefeated, the volleyball team now finding their way, advancing in the playoffs. DMA on the rise in a lot of their athletic programs here in the state of Delaware, a school to look out for.
Yeah, and their soccer team had a soccer team and field hockey team are also playing in the state tournament. So all four of their teams made the state tournaments, and not many other schools can say that around. So congratulations to them.
So there you have it, St. Mark's and Caravel, DMA Newark Charter, your first two matches of the quarterfinals. That leaves two more. And Jay, coming into the tournament, your number 2 seed was the Padua Pandas. Phenomenal season for Padua. St. Mark's and Padua have been the top 2 teams going at it. St. Mark's taking home the victory over Padua in the regular season, obviously, as we've done a few of those games. But Padua coming in as the 2 seed, confidence all-time high. Smyrna gets a 3-0 win over Concord in round 1. Padua, they 3-0 Smyrna in round 2. They're on to the quarterfinals again, having not dropped a set, and they're going to get an interesting matchup here because this is one of the few that went chalk. Dover, your 7 seed in a first-round bye, they beat Middletown 3-1, so you got number 2 Padua and number 7 Dover in one of the few small version of the brackets where it went chalk.
Yeah, and Dover's an interesting team. They went 13-2, won the Henlope, and every year Smyrna in volleyball is always the Henlope and champions. Not this year. Dover dethroned them. Dover had a solid season. I think a lot of us experts were waiting for a match against Middletown to see, where they kind of rank up there, and they beat a good Middletown, solid Middletown team. The question is, do they have enough to match up with a Padua team that comes in all directions, especially with their height? So, that's a question. I think Dover might surprise some people and might be able to make the match against Padua interesting. But like you said, right now Padua is rolling on all cylinders, and they want that. They want to eventually get that rematch against St. Mark's down the road.
Absolutely, that's definitely on their minds. Again, having not dropped a set yet, that's going to be a good one. 6:00 tomorrow. Dover and Padua at St. Mark's High School. And then your other matchup in the quarterfinals at St. Mark's, that will be following Padua in Dover. And Jay, another interesting one here. You had Ursuline come in at the 14 seed in a first-round matchup with Apo. 3-0 Ursuline. They get the win there. And then they had a tough second-round matchup with the third-ranked first-round by Red Lion Christian Academy. And Ursuline, they go to work. A big win, 3-1. They upset the number 3 seed. They find themselves in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I got a chance to see Ursuline this year. It's not a typical Ursuline team. They lack the height. Mm-hmm. But what they do is they play solid defense. And that match against St. Mark's to end the season where they took a set. St. Mark's only dropped two sets all year. Wilmington Friends the first one, and Ursuline that Saturday night game. That Saturday night game, that set, even though they didn't win the match, I think it gave them momentum heading into the tournament. They were able to beat a decent Apo team at home, but I don't think many people were giving them a chance against that powerful Red Lion team who finished the year 13-2 and beat some great teams along the way. And Ursuline played their solid defense. Had some, it was really great to beat a Red Lion team. So hats off to Ursuline. Sue Heiss, does she have magic in it for one more state tournament? We mentioned St. Mark's. You said they had 12, right?
Yeah, 12, looking for number 12.
And I think Ursuline has 12 or 13 themselves, most of them Sue Heiss. So her last year, does she have one more magic run in her? It's going to be tough.
It's good. But already on the right track after that big upset
absolutely.
Over Red Lions. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Ursuline, one of the talented teams here in the state of Delaware. And now we're going to look at our same quarterfinal matchup. Ursuline, you talked about how they got there. 3-1 set win over Red Lion Christian. And now we look to the very bottom of the bracket. Round 1, you had Sussex Central, the 11 seed, and Lake Forest, the 22 seed. Sussex Central taking care of business, 3-0. They advance against Wilmington Friends, your 6th seed. And Friends comes out. The Quakers play really good volleyball, 3-0 sweep, and they will get Ursuline in the quarterfinals, 7:30 tomorrow at St. Mark's High School.
Yeah, Wilmington Friends. What more? Nick, they beat Padua in 5 sets this year. This Wilmington Friends team.
Quakers having a good fall sports year as well. Very talented team. They've been in the semifinals the last 2 years, both losing in the semifinals twice against Padua, both in 5 sets. They got their revenge this year in the regular season, but they want that state tournament rematch in the semifinals to see if they can get over the hump
and standing in their way is the legendary Coach Sue Heiss and Ursula, who's making a magical run. I said Newark Charter DMA might go 5 sets. This is Wilmington Friends.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Ursula could go 5 sets too. It's what can I say? Friends. The talent on this Friends team is unbelievable. I watched them go toe-to-toe with Paddle. They're one of the only 2 teams to take a set from St. Mark's to open the year. So that Friends team is really good, and I can't wait to see. That's a tell, and Friends has a very good defensive specialist in Jocelyn Nathan, and Ursuline has great defense. They play great defense. So if you like defense and volleyball, I think there'll be a lot of pancakes in that matchup.
Some volleyball terminology for everybody out there. And again, this one's going to be the battle of teams that took a set from the Spartans, Ursuline and Wilmington Friends. Both of them the only 2 teams to take a set from St. Mark's this season. Those 2 going at it in the quarterfinals. And Jay, now potential semifinals matchup, St. Mark's and Caravel. You maybe see the Spartans advancing in that one. And you got DMA and Newark Charter, which you said could go 5 sets. If I had to put you on the spot, DMA and Newark Charter. Again, this game's tomorrow night. We're talking here on a Monday. This game's tomorrow, Tuesday night, so not a lot of time until we are underway here in the quarterfinals. Who would you go with?
So I'm leaning. I think the semifinals are going to be St. Mark's and Newark Charter, and I think it's going to be Padua and Friends. I think those are the 4 teams you'll see in the semifinals on Thursday night at St. Mark's. But I think Friends, I think Ursuline can play a role in it, and I think DMA can play a role in it. I think those 2 are your 2 toss-up games that I see going that could go either way. But I right now, if you put me on the spot like you did, I'm gonna go pretty much with the St. Mark's, Newark Charter, Padua, and Wilmington Friends.
And Jay, kind of take me into my next question here is Padua and St. Mark's on a collision course, 1 and 2, obviously coming in. They've been 1 and 2 for most of the year. Are they going to be seeing each other for a 3rd straight championship? I mean, how often do you see stuff like that?
Yeah, you normally don't see 3 years in a row. They both. I think St. Mark's probably has maybe a little easier pass than Padua, but they both are. They both have to get by some tough teams. Like I said, Caravel it's played a tough schedule this year. Then if you get by them, you're going to hit a Newark Charter or DMA. 2 teams that play a tough schedule and can compete with St. Mark's. And in the bottom half, you got Wilmington Friends, Ursuline sitting there for Padua. Never an easy get either. Yeah. So I think the collision course is set for a 3rd championship meeting between those 2, but that's why we play these games, and I think that it's going to be interesting to see if we can both get there. It's going to be tough, and I'm sure if Mike was here, he would say the same thing. He's seen Friends and he's seen Newark Charter, and he knows, and DMA, so he knows, and Ursuline, so he knows that St. Mark's and Padua does not have an easy time to get into those finals.
Man, again, it should be a great volleyball tournament, Jay. As we wrap up our volleyball championship talk, potentially speaking, if I had to put you on the spot now again, back-to-back, putting you in the hot seat here, Jay. I made you pick those matchups. Who's going to be your 2021 volleyball state champion?
I just think right now St. Mark's is the deepest team. They've lost 2 sets the whole season. They beat number 2 Padua twice, 3-0. Yeah. The pedigree is there. The talent is there. They're deepest from top to bottom. But and I know, Nick, when you get in those championship games, that pressure, and it's how do you handle the pressure? But right now, if you put me on the spot, I would go St. Mark's just because I saw them, and no team could really handle them in state this year. But I'm sure Coach Nancy will have St. Mark's ready to go. She'll get them ready and say, hey, listen, just because we're the top seed nothing's given. You got to go out there and earn the championship. And but if I had to pick today, I'm leaning St. Mark's.
Looking for state championship number 12 is the Spartans this season. Jay, going to do something quickly we haven't really done in the past. You have your championship match. I'm assuming, are you going to take St. Mark's and Padua advancing in the finals?
You know what?
Upset City?
I'm going with St. Mark's Friends.
How about that? That'd
game.
be a great one. That would be cool. So Jay going Friends and St. Mark's in the championship. Then down to third place matchup. Who do you see taking home that and maybe becoming your third place bronze medalist here?
I will go Padua over Newark Charter.
There you go.
That will go the max sets,
Which
I believe in the third place match is 3. They play best of 3.
How about that? So we should have some potential great volleyball matchups coming up. Quarterfinals again tomorrow night. This should be out on Monday night, probably late Monday. Again tomorrow at St. Elizabeth's and St. Mark's. Some great matchups. It's going to be St. Mark's and Caravel, DMA and Newark Charter, Padua and Dover, and then Ursuline and Wilmington Friends. And again, DMA, Newark Charter, Ursuline Friends could go 5 sets. Those are some great matchups and something to look forward to. Great season of volleyball as we head into playoff time. Now we're going to shift our focus over to soccer. Again, Jay, not able to talk much soccer this year with the show and everything going on. We've had a lot of games to cover, but now it's our time to talk. D1 soccer bracket is out, and it all gets started this Wednesday here. Your top seed, Cesar Rodney, 14-0-1, and they draw Cape Henlope in the 8 seed, 9-5-1. Talk a little bit about the Riders.
Yeah, what a great season for Cesar Rodney. Like you said, 14-0-1. Some great wins on their schedule, including a win over Cape Henlope. They tied Wilmington Charter, and probably one of the most exciting. That started the season, by the way. That was the first. Yeah. That was that first Friday night or Thursday night, whenever it was. They played, and it was a 4-4 draw. And since then, Cesar Rodney's one of the higher scoring teams in Division I this year. They can score a lot of goals, and congratulations to them, the top seed in the tournament.
It's 8 teams, Jay, seated here in your D1 soccer bracket. Cesar Rodney and Cape, you're 1-8 in a first-round matchup at CR. Then Sussex Central, the Golden Knights, get your 4 seed in the D1 bracket. They'll be at home for round 1 on Wednesday against the visiting number 5 St. George's. So 4-5 there. 11-2-1 are the Golden Knights. 11-3-1 are St. George's. That should be a great quarterfinal first-round matchup.
It is, and I wonder if their soccer team also plays at the castle down there, because we know it's tough for a football team to go in there. So, but St. George's had a fantastic season. They had a stretch where they lost a couple in a row, and they're back on their winning ways, and they go in there and have a tough travel down to Sussex Central and play in a good 4-5 matchup. I think if you're down at Central tomorrow night, you might or Wednesday night, you might see a little bonus soccer down there. Maybe a little OT,
a little extra time. Yeah.
maybe you'll see a golden goal.
Golden goal. I'll tell you, I do love golden goal. That's one of my favorite things. You're gonna play FIFA, got to put it on golden goal. Now over to our number 2 and number 7 matchup. And Jay, me and you were talking before we went on the air a little bit, and Salesianum. Obviously, the powerhouse we know every year. And the majority of their schedule out of state, you don't even get to see them half the time of the teams they play, national schedule. And some of the challenges of that are you're going to take a few losses here or there, maybe more so than some of the teams that stick around the state and play those teams in state. Salesianum coming in, they're 11-4, and that's good for the 3rd seed in the bracket. Talk a little bit about Sally's getting that 3 seed. Does that even really mean anything to them, what seed they are in the tournament?
I don't think so. When they had their 10-year run ended last year by Appoquinimink.
Yeah, we had to do that game. What a game that was.
Yeah, it goes to talk about golden goal. There wasn't golden goal.
No,
it had to go
PKs,
past goal to goal into the PKs to decide that one. And I think Sally's has a lot to prove. Remember last year they had to play all Delaware teams because of the pandemic, and this year they were able to go back out to that national schedule. They lost 4 times to 4 New Jersey teams on the road there, including number 2 in the nation, St. Benedict's Prep, who came to Sally's this year and played. But in-state, I think what the Sally's team that we saw at the end of the year, that they had a nice win over St. Mark's 3-0. They beat Caravel 3-1, and then they beat Wilmington Charter 4-0. These are all good signs heading to the tournament. They lost their big goal scorer Ross for a few games early in the season during that little losing streak. He's back. He had 2 goals in the Wilmington Charter win. So, I don't think it matters what seed they are. I think if you ask anybody today, if Mike Lang or Nick Holliday or, any of our Benny Mitchell, if any of our experts were on this, I think they would all agree with me that Sally's is probably your favorite, even though they're seeded third.
Yeah, again, that's just comes with the schedule. 11-4, 4 losses to those top teams from New Jersey. The Sal's gets you number 3 seed, but again, and maybe one of your favorites to make the championship and take home another state championship. They get Del Castle, your 6th seed. Del Castle, good year, 12-3. They get your 6th seed in the tournament. A tough matchup for them with the Sal's.
Yeah, I got to see last year, like I said, with Sally's playing an in-state schedule. Del Castle played Slade-Anum, and I thought Del Castle was a young, talented team, and I thought maybe they could thrive this year. They came out and they proved me right. They had a great season, like you said. It's going to be tough to go to the Abyssinia Stadium on Wednesday night and try and eke out a win against that Sally's program. And I just don't think there's a way that you can play Sally's. You sit back and try and get into don't let Sally's get many goals on you. Don't let Sally's beat you. They get a couple goals, and you got to change your game plan. And if you try and go, play up and score and attack against Sally's will hit you with the counterattack. And before you know it, you're down 2-0, 3-0. So I think, Del Castle, just get there. Maybe get an early goal. I think that's the only way teams, if you can get an early goal on Sally's and make them come to you. But I like that Del Castle team. They've had a great season. Unfortunately, they probably said 6 seed, we avoided Sally's. No, not this year.
Not this year. That's
unfortunately.
Right. That's right. And that takes us to our last matchup. This one at Abyssinia at 7:30 p.m. It's your 2 seed, 12-1-1, the Charter School of Wilmington against your defending state champion Appoquinimink Jaguars. You come in this year as your 7th seed, a young team now. They lost a lot of those guys from the state championship team last season. They were 9-4-2 this year, and they get the number 2 seeded Charter School of Wilmington force.
Yeah, and I saw Appo early in the year. Like you said, a very young team. They were, there were some seniors on it, but they lost a lot of talent from last year's team. What they did, they had that little stretch where they lost to Sally's, tied Dover, tied William Penn. So they had some ties in there. They've had some losses. Young team, but they're starting to come in at the right time. They were able to hold off Del Castle last week and win the Flight A championship to get the auto bid, because a lot of people were worried right where they were hovering around, as you can see, a 7 seed, but they had the auto bid. Yeah. That they would have got in anyway as the 7 seed. Really young team. And I think you're seeing their Charter at 2. I think that they were probably not wanting to see Appo in that draw. Yeah. But like you said, I think that could be the matchup of the open round. I think that in the Sussex Central St. George's Tech, both of those games are going overtime.
And Jay, quarterfinals Wednesday, November 10th. And then you got to wait a week for the semifinals. They'll be either the 16th or the 17th. Championship game will be on Saturday, November 20th. You just gone through it there. If you had to pick a potential championship matchup, what are you going with?
I'm going Caesar Rodney versus Salesianum.
There you go.
And in the finals at Dover on the 20th. I think those two are on the collision course to meet. Though I think both of them will have tough second-round matchups. So, I mean, Sally's Appo in the semifinals. It could be Sally's Charter. And then the other side, CR has the Sussex Central St. George's Tech winner, which won't be easy. But on the spot, I'm going CR Sally's in the finals.
Definitely something to look out for. Sally's, is that your pick for the champions?
They are my pick for the champions.
I know you too well now, Jay.
I think After not winning it last year, especially the older upperclassmen, they have something to prove. They want to go out on top, and I think they get it done this year.
Championship back to Sally's, or we'll have to wait and find out. Now over to Division II soccer, and this one you got about 12 teams making the tournament here. And how about your top seed, Jay? They're number 1 in volleyball, number 1 in D2 soccer. That's the St. Mark Spartans, 12-3 in a first-round bye. They'll get the winner of Brandywine and Newark Charter.
Yeah, and if you're St. Mark's, those are the two teams. They played both Brandywine and Newark Charter in the regular season to struggle against both teams. I mean, they came out with wins, 1-0 against Newark Charter, and I believe 2 or 3-0 against Brandywine. So 2 very good games, and you see them in that 8-9 matchup there, and St. Mark's will not have, I think, a cakewalk as many people think in that first round game. They see 2 teams that they played. St. Mark's played really well this year. Coach Swayze has them playing in the right direction. A really physical team that has goal scorers, but their weapon is in goal. That goalie is real solid. Their goalies, 2 of them played this year a bunch. They're solid. Don't give up many goals. Mm-hmm. So to beat St. Mark's, you got to get an early goal and hope that your defense can hold off the Spartans.
And your number 2 seed, the Caravel Buccaneers, Jay, 11-2-1. They get a first-round bye. Again, these quarterfinal matchups are Saturday, November 13th for D2, and round 1 will be starting tomorrow night. Again, we're on Monday, November 8th this evening, so tomorrow night will be Tuesday, November 9th, and that's when these games will take place in round 1 at 6 o'clock. So Caravel, they have to wait to play till the quarters. They get a first-round bye as your 2 seed, and they get the winner of Archmere and Sussex Academy. That should be a good one, Archmere 10-5 on the season.
Yeah, and that game tomorrow night, Archmere and Sussex Academy will be at Abyssinia Stadium at 6 o'clock because Archmere doesn't have lights. That's an interesting matchup. Archmere, tale of 2 seasons for them. They started out like 3-0, then they lost like 5 or 6 in a row, and then they regrouped and beat Newark Charter and DMA or not DMA, Newark Charter and some other teams coming down the stretch. To get a solid 7 seed in the tournament, and be interested to see Sussex Academy started the year 6-0, got to their tough part of the schedule, dropped some games, but they're sitting right there as a 10 seed. I think that one can go either way, and I might have to make myself head over there tomorrow night, maybe catch a little of that one if I can.
Any of those 2 teams have a chance to beat the Buccaneers in the quarterfinals?
I saw Caravel handled Archmere, pretty good the first time they played them, and I don't know if either of them can play with Caravel. Caravel is a really solid team, but I never like to count Archmere out. I mean, Archmere won the championship a couple of years ago. Last year their tournament ended. Because they had to withdraw at the last minute because of, things beyond their control.
Yeah.
So, they really haven't lost a state tournament game in 2 years.
How about that?
So, they're don't count them out.
And, Jay, you look now at the number 3 seed and also first-round bye for Indian River, 10-2-1. What a season they had last year, taking home the state championship in the spring. Talk a little bit about Indian River as a program. They've been obviously making strides each year. They get 10-2-1 this year in the number 3 seed.
Like we said about the 3 seed in Division 1, Division 2, same thing. You're defending Indian River, you're defending champs. Their 2 losses is to CR and Wilmington Charter, who are 1 and 2 in the Division 1.
How about that?
So, to me, they are the team. They're the team to beat this tournament.
Yeah.
Solid program. They lost to CR in the Henley Open Championship game, but hung with CR twice this regular season. They tied Newark Charter to open the season, which was a rematch of last year's championship game. So a real solid program and a team I think that people will have their eyes on this year.
They're going to get the winner of McCain and Delmar. McCain, good season for them. 6 seed, 10-3 on the year.
Yeah, really good season. They finished the year playing St. Mark's, and Mike was there, and he said McCain hung with St. Mark's until late in the second half, where St. Mark's scored a couple goals and took away the 3-0 win. But good program there.
Yeah, they've looked really good. Again, Indian River, your 3 seed, and then Jay, your 4 seed, Wilmington Friends, 11-2-1, and they get the winner of your 5 seed DMA, who was 11-4, continuing obviously the success that school's having here in the fall, and St. Andrews, your 12 seed at 8-5-2. How do you see any of those teams matching up with Wilmington Friends, your 4 seed?
Friends is a real solid team. Great year they had. Real good regular seasons. Played Caravel tough. Played some of these teams real tough. They would probably be my favorite. But DMA is coming in on a hot streak, minus their last game of the year when they played Slazy Annam. But they were controlling some of that. They've had some nice wins over Archmere along the way, and that's a very talented DMA team. And they're playing St. Andrews in the first round, who's out of the independent, who's played Friends twice this year. I always like to say it's tough to beat a team 2 times. It's tough to beat a team 3 times.
Even more tough.
Yeah, so I don't think Friends has a cakewalk there, but they'd be my team, I think, to get out of that bottom half of the bracket.
Quarterfinals on Saturday, November 13th, and then 16th and 17th will be your semifinals, state championship again, Saturday, November 20th. Jay, time to put you on the spot. We went through some of these matchups, potential matchups. Semifinals and finals now are in front of us. What do you got in your potential championship match and in your potential state champion?
Okay. This is going to be interesting right there, and here you go. And you know what? I have to go to St. Mark's on Thursday night to cover the volleyball championships, but I really like Friends in that top half of the bracket. But I'll say St. Mark's just because I know that's where I'm going on. And then the bottom half, that Caravel Indian River. I hope that's the first semifinal on that day, because I think that one could go all night.
Yeah,
I think that a game that could
maybe
come
PKs.
down to PKs. And I would go. I'm gonna pick the defending champs IR in that game. So I'd say, if I had to pick, I would pick IR as my champion. I think they defend the crown this year.
How about that? That'll be a good one. So there you have it for soccer. Now, Jay, time to move into our last sport to talk about here in the fall. Playoffs quickly approaching. It's our D1 Field Hockey Championship, all getting started this Thursday, November 11th. Your top seed, Jay, something we're a little used to, and that is Cape Henlopen, 14-1 on the year. They're your top seed. They get Dover, your 8th seed, in the first round on Thursday.
Yeah, Cape Henlopen, what can you say? And there are 2 losses this year. Well, one was in the Henlopen championship game, so I don't think they counted. But their losses were to Delmar by 1 goal both times when they played them. So, a very talented team. All they do is win championships over there at Cape Henlopen, especially in field hockey. And, but they get a Henny North matchup right out of the gate with a Dover team.
Yeah, again, they've had, one of the more successful teams year in and year out, obviously, is Cape Henlopen. On to your number 4 versus number 5 matchup in round 1 on Thursday, quarterfinals. Sussex Tech, 10-5. They're your 4 seed. Polytech, 8-6-1. The Panthers get your 5 seed. That game at Sussex Tech at 2 p.m. on Thursday.
I was going to say, a lot of these field hockey games are going to be 2 o'clock, especially at places that don't have the lights, because the clocks fell back. It's dark by like 5 o'clock now.
Yeah.
So they got, during the season, those 3:30 games, you had a chance to get them in before it got dark.
Not now.
And especially if they go overtime or to penalty strokes. So it's, that's why you'll see a lot of 2 o'clock starts when Nick announces the games.
So Thursday, your quarterfinals, and then Tuesday the 16th will be your semifinals. But sticking with the quarterfinals, number 2, Charter School of Wilmington, the Force. Again, they seem to be hanging up here in a lot of these rankings and a lot of these seedings come playoff time. Obviously, a good fall for the Charter School of Wilmington, 13-2, and your number 2 seed. And how about they get Padua, who comes in 7-7-1 as your number 7 seed. It'll be the Force versus the Pandas in round 1.
Yeah, and I believe a rematch of the regular season at the Wilmington Charter won. They were undefeated for a while until they dropped a couple coming down the stretch to St. Mark's and Archmere. So, that's a matchup there where I would throw the seating out of the window and 2 versus 7. I think that's going to be a really good game there at Wilmington Charter on Thursday. I think I'm going to go watch it before I head to St. Mark's for the volleyball semifinals that night. Go. But I have to pray that I can get up because I work Wednesday night till 6:30 Thursday morning.
And then, Jay, Smyrna, your 3 seed, 12-3 for the Eagles this year. Again, all these games at 2, like you mentioned. They get the Jaguars, who had a good season, 10-5. They're your 6 seed. Number 3, Smyrna versus number 6, Appo. They round out your first-round matchups in your D1 field hockey playoff.
Yeah, watch out for the Smyrna Eagles. Fantastic season for them. They beat Padua. They played real tough against Cape Henlopen and Delmar. A really solid team. They're serving in the 3 seed, and they would probably be my favorite to come out of that bottom half of the bracket.
And you led me right into it, Jay. Obviously, Cape Henlopen, they're your number 1 seed. Do you see your potential championship matchup being Smyrna, Cape Henlopen?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Eagles and Vikings meeting that Saturday, the 20th at Dover, and I believe there is a time for the field hockey.
11:30 a.m.
So they will be playing before noon on the 20th of November down there in Dover, and I think if I had to go now, I'm going Smyrna versus Cape Henlopen, a Henny North battle for the Division I field hockey state championship.
And your champion is?
Can't go against Cape.
Yeah.
Cape Henlopen has been too strong. But I can tell you that Smyrna is one of the few teams that were able to score on Delmar this year. The other one being Cape Henlopen.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's gonna be close, but I think Cape Henlopen has too much.
Again, that's your D1 playoff outlook and field hockey quarterfinals underway on Thursday, with the semifinals taking place Tuesday, November 16th, and both of those semifinal games will start at 5 at the DE Turf Sports Complex. So that's where you can catch the semifinals, and of course, as Jason alluded to, the championship at Dover High School on November 20th. Now over to Division II field hockey as we wrap up our fall sports playoff outlook here today, and we've got around 11 seeds, and Jay, your top seed at 15-0 in a first-round bye. Delmar, nothing new there.
No, nothing new. I'm sure they're going to be the favorites. They've really beat teams good this year. But they've been in a couple tight battles with Cape, which I think could help them if they get in a close matchup. But right now, Delmar is clicking on all cylinders heading into the state tournament.
They're going to get the winner of Concord, your 8 seed, and Caravel, your 9 seed. Again, Delmar looking to take care of business in the quarterfinals after the winner of that one. And the quarterfinals will be Saturday, November 13th, and at Cape Henlopen or at the field of the hosting highest seed there. So Sussex Academy, they get your 4th seed, Jay. First round bye for Sussex Academy. They'll get the winner of Tatnall and DMA. Tatnall's your 5, DMA your 12. That game at Sussex Academy at 11 a.m. in the quarters on Saturday. But Tatnall, DMA, in the first round, winner gets Sussex.
Yeah, DMA has the best goaltender in the state. And Anna Palinetti, we had her as one of our standout performers the one week.
Oh, I remember that. Wow.
Where she made 49 saves in a game, which I believe is the NFSHS second most ever by a goalie in field hockey, and that covers the whole nation.
Yeah.
Not a very good offensive team, so she's going to have to stand on their head against a very good Tatnall team. But I think because of her, that could be a closer game than many people think. But that's going to be an exciting game. And then in that 4-5 matchup, Sussex Academy, what a year they've had.
Yes.
Down there, and they're that's a tough place to play. A tough place if Tatnall or DMA has to go down there and take them on. So if I had to go right now, I think Sussex Academy will get to the semifinals.
There you go. Moving down the bracket, your 2 seed, the Archmere Auks. 12-3 on the year. They're awaiting the winner of Lake Forest and St. Mark's. How about the Spartan matchup? Lake Forest Spartans versus the St. Mark's Spartans at 7-10 matchup there. The winner getting Archmere. How do you see that unfolding?
I believe the St. Mark's Lake Forest is tomorrow at 2:00, right?
Yes.
So
Tuesday, November 9th, yeah.
The St. Mark's kids will be leaving school bright and early for that one because get down to the lake for a 2:00 start. St. Mark's is a team that's has me confused all year. Nick, they've had some great wins and some losses. You go, wow, really they lose that team? A very solid team. I really like the way they're playing. In Lake Forest, they play in that tough Henny South, where you play Delmar, you play Sussex Academy, you play some other tough teams down there. I think that's going to be a interesting match tomorrow. I would lean St. Mark's, and if we get St. Mark's Archmere, they played earlier this year, and I believe Archmere held on for a 2-goal win. I just think right now Archmere has too much talent for either St. Mark's or Lake, and they would probably move on to the semifinals.
On to our last matchup here. Number 3 Newark Charter. They're 12-3 on the year. They are their last team with the first round bye here in our D2 field hockey playoff. And then once again, the Quakers of Wilmington Friends, your 6th seed at 11-2-2, and then Brandywine, your 11th seed at 12-2-1. So both of these teams having phenomenal seasons. Even with the schedules they've had, both of those teams with 11 and 12 wins this year.
Yeah, Newark Charter played in that tough Diamond State where they had to play Archmere and Wilmington Charter and DMA.
Yeah.
Wilmington Charter's in the D1 field. We already know that Archmere and DMA joined Newark Charter, and so it's a tough field hockey conference. And Brandywine, all they do is keep on winning that Flight B title.
Yeah.
And, every year, everyone goes, "Well, Brandywine graduated this." They're not. Every year they win the Flight B. So they had a great coaching down there. I think that's. I would like Newark Charter. I think a Newark Charter will beat the winner of the Friends Brandywine game, probably Friends. So I would probably say Newark Charter would be. I think you're going to see a Archmere Newark Charter semifinal and a Delmar Sussex Academy semifinal. Though let me tell you this: if Caravelle meets Delmar, it's a rematch of the regular season.
How about that? Again,
of the state championship last year.
And we have a few of those throughout some of these sports, potential state championship rematches. And again, the quarterfinals Saturday, November 13th. And then the semifinals, Wednesday, November 17th, they will also once again be at the DE Turf Sports Complex at 5 and 7 o'clock. So, Jay, you talked about your semifinal matchups. I believe you had it going, your top 4 seeds advancing to the semifinals. Delmar, Sussex Academy, Archmere, Newark Charter. How do you see those games working out, your championship game, and then your eventual champion? How do you see the championship game playing out?
I think it's going to be Newark Charter, Archmere played and went OT.
Mm-hmm.
And overtime in the regular season, they play 7-on-7 in field hockey. I don't know if that's how it goes in the playoffs, but I will tell you this, that Archmere controlled all of that overtime before eventually scoring. I think that's another one that could go to overtime. And I'm going to lean Archmere's way in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Delmar, Sussex Academy, I just think Delmar has too much for Sussex Academy. And I see Delmar, Archmere meeting at Dover High School on the 20th at 3 o'clock.
You're right on, Jay.
Okay.
3 o'clock at Dover High School. And then who's going to be a champion? Delmar and Archmere. Who you got?
Unfortunately, I think the Hawks season will end as a runner-up this year. I really like Delmar, your defending champs. Too much talent. Some of their top players are going to the big-time field hockey schools. And I just think Delmar has too much for any team, and I think Delmar takes home your Division II state championship.
Well, there you have it, Jay. We went on for almost an hour. We got to soccer, we got to field hockey, we got to volleyball a lot. It's playoff time here in the state of Delaware. We just had a whole talk with the whole crew about football as well. So, again, thanks for all who tuned in. Playoffs are right now here in the state of Delaware, football just around the corner. For Nick Alessandrini and Jason Winchell, thanks for tuning in to Delaware Live Sports. More action coming at you this week. Thank you.